belt.
But that wasn't a knockdown. There's rumors saying that like Herb Dean coming in from the top rope, doing a people's elbow drop right onto Dustin Poirier was absolutely the reason why Poirier got knocked out, making this match fixed, and Gaethje did not win.
Okay, shut up.
Because Herb Dean did the dirty work.
So he's a shit ref.
No, Herb Dean's a GOAT.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast. And before we get into it today, we dropped a very special podcast episode, a third episode this week on Saturday. We filmed our first guest video with their cousin, Jeevan Badwal. We alluded him a couple of times in the podcast before. So make sure you guys check that out. It was you'll hear about his journey, some funny childhood stories you'll probably never hear.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the future guest videos as well, because we will definitely film more of those. So hit the subscribe button and like button for that. And also comment down below for any future guests. We'll try to get them on because they probably might not know us right now.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try our best to reach out, obviously. It doesn't have to be athletes, but we're focused on athletes or like sports media people or coaching and whatever. But just a reminder to you guys, those guest videos or those guest random episodes, or like, you know, how our solo sports, non-sports podcast episodes will be at random. So don't expect them weekly or anything, but you know, we'll try, once we get one on, we'll try to get it out as soon as possible for you guys. Also, make sure you guys download the podcast on audio platforms and give it a 5-star rating if you enjoy it, and follow our socials, Instagram, TikTok, everything. We drop daily on there as well. Without further ado, let's get into it. A lot of stuff to get into, mainly the MLB and the NFL, because that's what's mainly relevant.
Deadline day in 2 days.
Oh, soccer as well. But yeah, MLB.
Deadline day in 2 days. The most anticipating part.
1 day when this comes out.
Huh? Oh yeah, 1 day technically, but yeah. Obviously, this is the time of the year where, like, especially if your team is in the playoff hunt like ours is, we're like looking at rumors, looking at targets. All right, what are our needs?
And the trades already began.
Yeah,
not just the Blue Jays side of things, but like other teams as well.
It started like a few days ago, and still see what happens on the deadline, because there are some targets that will definitely help improve teams for sure. Starting pitching targets, there's bullpen targets still. And I think the batters are a little bit, I don't think it's...
There's still some, we'll get into the buyers and sellers
nothing
after
too great
we get
for
to
the
the
batters.
news.
Yeah. I think the pitching, some good pitching ones for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into the buyers and sellers after we talk about what the news that literally came out, not just today, but also at the time of this recording today and yesterday. Well, let's get into the first one. A team that, you know, me and you were arguing on the
tier list.
On the tier list, the Texas Rangers, you know, have made moves. They're making moves. They've been making moves in the off seasons. Now they finally are a trade deadline destination. And the first major move they made was Max Scherzer. He is now officially a Texas Ranger, and it was so the trade was agreed upon, but it was also
Scherzer has like
he had a no trade list, right? And no trade clause, and it was up to him to waive it. He waived it, and obviously Texas wanted to make sure he opted into the season. Obviously they did not want him to like just leave after as a rental, right? So he agreed ultimately, and the guy going the other way, obviously we don't know much about prospects, but so I don't know how good this guy is, but you'll recognize the name Acuna. Jovan has probably the full name here.
His full name is Luis Angel Acuna,
who is the younger brother of probable MVP this year of the Atlanta Braves.
I don't know if I said it right, if they're like Luis Angel or Luis Angel, something like that. Or
Angel, but
yeah,
it's the younger brother of most likely MVP of the NL, Atlanta Braves center fielder Ronald Acuna. And he's one of the top prospects in Texas, right? So New York's getting him, and we'll talk about the Texas side of things first. Obviously, I don't know how comfortable they are at the top right now, but they are, because Houston is losing. They're leading their division. I'll pull up the standings in a second. They had another trade, which we'll get into in a second, but you know, Jake reunites with Jacob DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom's injured, Nathan Eovaldi stepped up, right? Then they had other pitching they have added in the offseason. They added another one now. And on top of that, they're hitting, right? Obviously they're two inner infield all-stars in Simeon and Seager. And potential Rookie of the Year candidate in Josh Young.
And then Johnathan, their catcher, is also all-star as well. I think outfielder Adolis Garcia, who also participated in the home run derby and made the all-star game himself. The thing with this Scherzer trade is, like, obviously they're confident in DeGrom, like, his ability, because DeGrom is DeGrom, right?
They reunited as well.
They're reunited. The thing is that I think the Rangers, obviously they needed pitching. We all know that, right? And that's why they got DeGrom and Eovaldi in the offseason. But Rangers still wanted an ace. With DeGrom out, they don't have an ace, right? Eovaldi is not a number one, but he might be playing like it right now. But if you're looking at him, just Eovaldi right now, he's not in the upper tier of starting pitchers. Scherzer is, even though he may be struggling this year, and he's old, but when Scherzer's on his game, he is, one of the best pitchers in the league.
He came out and said, like, obviously, well, again, alluding to the future topic in the buyers and sellers, the Mets are looking like they're sellers, and he was pissed off that a trade happened before David Robinson.
Their closer, David Robinson.
So he was pissed off at that trade and wanted to talk to them. Obviously, not surprised he ended up getting traded. He's going to a winning culture off the bat, right? So similar to how he went to the Dodgers from Washington, it's going to be a similar vibe. Can he propel them? Texas are only a game and a half above Houston right now, so it's not like they have a far-fledged lead like the Atlanta Braves do, for example. So that the first addition there, their pitching has been propelled, right? And with the mix of their hitting, they could be a serious threat. Obviously coming into
a serious
October.
Threat. Yeah, I mean, now if DeGrom comes back healthy in the playoff time, which I believe he should, right? But you never know his injuries. And it's DeGrom.
And it's DeGrom.
And then
in your eyes, the best baseball pitcher if he's healthy.
Yeah, and then you got two aces if they're at their game at your 1 and 2. Eovaldi, who's playing like an ace, at your number 3. And then you got Jordan Montgomery, which is the second trade they made today.
Yeah, so and
they got from Cardinals, Rangers got Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton, and the Cardinals received Thomas Sagis, Tekoa Roby, and John King.
So those are obviously...
They're all... Tekoa Roby is a starting pitcher. John King's a relief pitcher.
But prospects though, right?
Yeah, I believe prospects. And Thomas Sagis is an infielder.
Texas also had a bullpen
apologize
guy.
in advance if I butchered the names.
Texas obviously in Chris Stratton is a relief pitcher too, right? So help the bullpen a bit.
Yeah,
there.
they're gonna need. I think they're going to make one more trade for Texas to add a bullpen guy for sure, because
right now they added one more. Who's their other pitcher? I know they added a bigger name with Nathan Eovaldi as well. I'll look that up, but you go ahead with the trade details.
So basically you have a legit 4 guys, right? That 4 guys you can be confident in, and then also you got like John Gray or Martin Perez. Also, this also helps your bullpen by adding these starting pitchers, because one of your starting pitchers are going to the bullpen now.
They also added Aroldis Chapman. Remember that as well. So they're winning this trade deadline, right? They're going aggressive, right? Aroldis Chapman was having a good comeback year with the Royals. Obviously doing okay with, I guess, Texas. That guy Andrew Heaney was the guy I was looking at.
Yeah, right. He's for the bullpen.
No, he's a starter.
He started, well, not anymore now because
Jake Odorizzi is on a 60-day IL. That was the other name.
But DeGrom's not healthy, so he probably might start still.
Yeah,
but like you got Martin Perez, John Gray, Andrew Heaney, who are 3 starters for you, and then you got Eovaldi, Montgomery, and Scherzer. If DeGrom comes back, 2 of their guys are at least. I think they'll go 5-man rotation, right? I don't think they're going 6.
For the time being, we'll see who works.
For the time being, they might go 6, but like once DeGrom comes back, right? So then that also helps your bullpen, because one of your starters are going to a bullpen now.
Yeah. Texas is kind of struggling right now, which is because I think they're about to get swept if this game closes out against the Padres, which we'll get into a second as well. But the thing with Texas is can they get hot at the right time, like every team is, right? It doesn't matter. The one thing I love about baseball is it's not like the best team always wins. It's like the hottest team going into the postseason wins. We saw it with the Washington Nationals.
Saw it with the Braves.
We saw it with the Braves, right? We saw it with like certain other teams, the Phillies last year, for example. They didn't win it all, but they got to the Super Bowl, the World Series. So far Texas is definitely aggressive as hell.
Yeah, that's good for them as well. I don't know how much. Because I don't know the prospect system, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how far are they willing to go to the point where, like, they're going to try to add, like, a Josh Hader or a David Bednar from the bullpen?
Yeah. Depends, right? Like we'll see. We still again, I'm gonna rely the baseball knowledge more on you because you've been following it a little bit more than I have the last few years. Outside of the Blue Jays, obviously, we're similar, but yeah. I mean, even if they stop here, yeah, everyone needs bullpen help no matter what. Like I don't care how good you are. If you could, you could add bullpen pieces,
pitching is how you win World Series.
Yeah, so if you could add bullpen pieces, add it. But as of right now, with Texas, I feel like they're at a decent spot if they don't do anything else either. At a decent spot.
Yeah, but I definitely think they need a bullpen to like really.
Yeah, no, I'm saying
become like World Series.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm just saying at this point, right? They're at a decent spot anyways, right? Like if they had stayed, obviously they're not, but now they've added more pieces. A guy they were targeting was Jordan Hicks, and let's move on to that transition.
That transition.
That transition. Jordan Hicks officially got traded today, as of this recording at Sunday, and he had a market. He was one of the high velocity.
Yeah, but he was quickly before you go. Jordan Hicks was in that tier of Hader and like Bednar for like the big names that could
potentially
get
the best name available
as a bullpen piece.
Most realistic potential.
But yeah, Hicks was the most realistic compared to like Hader and Bednar.
Yeah.
But he was still in that like upper tier of players who could get traded.
The team that traded for him is the Toronto Blue Jays, so
which is really
big because Jordan Romano's injury is the key factor.
Jordan Romano getting injured. He also had some save experiences this year. Jordan Hicks. And then the key thing that we were also like screaming for last year is, can we add that overpowering fastball guy who could just
swing and miss guy?
Yeah, like it's not even swing and miss. Like you might not even have enough time to pull the trigger for how fast this guy throws a fastball.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, obviously swing and miss, strikeout merchant, right? Yeah. Jordan Hicks. The thing is like we were asking for it last year, like how do we get the bullpen guy? Because like when you think about it, like looking at our bullpen right now, Romano could hit 100, but he likes throwing the slider a lot.
Yeah.
Right? Swanson, Meza, these guys are like...
Swanson is like the Gosman fastball splitter.
Yeah, but these guys are like, they're not overpowering, right? Like they're in the still 90s fastball.
Yeah.
But like they're like a pitcher like type. Like how to pitch around them.
If you look at other teams with like potential closers, even in their prime, Aroldis Chapman was a big one, right? Before he kind of like fell off a little bit with the Yankees. You got Felix Bautista. You got like those what's the guy in Detroit who I think
Gregory Soto, but he's in Phillies now.
No, I'm just saying like those type of guys, right?
Yeah, so Gregory Soto.
Those are like
that was one target for
last year, right? Because he was that high velocity.
Yeah, he was a high velocity dude.
So
the Blue Jays don't have that in the pen, realistically. The closest person is Romano.
Maybe Yimi Garcia, but
yeah, but like those guys are like more pitch around type things, right? Like they, try to swing and miss through off speed,
So what was the trade details?
The trade details were Jordan Hicks to the Blue Jays, obviously, and then the Cardinals get back 2 pitching prospects. One's name is Adam Kloffenstein. He was a high-ranked prospect for the Blue Jays, but then I think fell off a little bit, so I don't think he's in the top 30. And then this was the big one, number 7 in the prospect pool. Yeah. But the thing with this is like he's our 4th best pitcher.
Okay.
Which is Sam Roberts.
Yeah, because I know Ricky Tiedemann's obviously number 1 overall.
And then Brandon Barria, our last year's draft pick, is number 2.
So the thing with this is I looked at Ben Nicholson-Smith's tweet. I looked at other like Blue Jays insider tweets. It's still a high price at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
especially it's a rental.
A 7th number prospect is a high price, but right
for a rental, especially
for a rental right now, because Hicks is a free agent, no like control over him.
This is the type of moves you got to do if you want to win it all.
Yeah, like
and the Jays are at a right. Yeah, unfortunately they lost today, and a lot of that was because of the offense, not the pitching. Today's game at least, but perfect timing because we got the Orioles next, right? We have to still play the Rays one more time.
That's why
our division record is horrendous, so we need to obviously, if we could fix that for this rest of the way, then obviously we should be in a playoff spot, whether it be wild card or not, wild card or division winner. Because we're not that far off the Orioles, especially if we do well in this next 3 or 4 games we have against them.
4-game series.
So that could potentially tie us with them, or even put them within a game if we beat them specifically.
If we sweep them, yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing you mentioned was the timing of this trade. Because we're going obviously into a big series.
Yeah.
And obviously we got a big series against the Angels as well.
Exactly.
But the timing of this trade were like, if he flies out today, he could be available for tomorrow. Also in the Orioles series, Ryu will make his return as well. So there's definitely a lot of interesting things we got to look at right now.
Yeah.
Because if Ryu was year 1 as a Blue Jay, or like his Cy Young, then obviously starting pitchers fixed right there as our trade deadline acquisition would be Ryu. Chad Green could be another bullpen acquisition as well, technically.
And are we gonna get shit Manoah or not? That's all.
That's
and
true.
so far, outside of the San Diego series, he's been decent, right? Like,
Yeah, so he had 3 starts, I think. Detroit one,
Detroit was solid,
San Diego one he struggled,
and the next
and
one,
the
he
last
didn't go.
one he didn't allow runs, but his pitch count went up pretty high.
And
so
then the Angels, he
didn't go deep.
The Angels won as well. This was
Yeah,
his
that was the
fourth
Angels one.
No, he had 4 starts.
Huh?
He
He had 4?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, just quickly check that.
I'll check that. But no, you mentioned early on with Texas 6-man rotation as well, right? So is Ryu or Manoah who are the most likely candidates? Because I don't see Kikuchi coming with the bend now.
Oh no,
Let's get biased here. We're gonna get to the Blue Jays talk a little bit.
Kikuchi had experience on the pen last year as well.
So maybe that way he'll fall. But I think Kikuchi should start because we don't know.
No, we're going 6-man for now. But I'm like, if we make the playoffs, it might just be a situation where obviously Gosman is getting his own start. Berrios, Bassett is getting his own start, right?
Yeah.
Then whoever does the best out of the next 3, which is Manoah, Ryu, and the Kikuchi,
Seattle.
they'll get their own start.
Sorry, Seattle.
Oh yeah, the Seattle one, he was really good. And then it might be a situation where like they stack up 2 starters to save some bullpen arms. Like say Manoah goes like 4 innings, right? And then Kikuchi comes out of the pen and gives
which is fine.
another
right?
3.
Pitching's a luxury that you have to have. You'll never be, it's a good good problem. That's the word to say. Good problem.
If you have options, it's a good problem. Because like right now, to make space for, like we cleared the junk of the bullpen. The junk is being Mitch White. Because remember the Dodgers game?
Thank God he's gone.
Remember the Dodgers game? Alright, so we're in a situation where Blue Jays relievers were getting taxed, right? Like there were multiple people not available because they pitched 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And relievers generally don't go 3 days in a row. So we were up by 4, right? And then Swanson comes in the bottom 9th, which
blows
is usually...
a save.
Huh? Blows a save.
Well, not even. He was a 4-run lead, but ended up blowing the save.
Like, which is a situation where Romano would be in.
Yeah.
Right? But Romano wasn't available because he pitched the 2 previous days.
Yeah.
And then after Swanson, there was no one else available because... Also, it would have been an even worse situation, but I'll get to that later. But Swanson blows a lead. The only person we had available in the bullpen coming out was Mitch White.
And
we all know that Mitch White is not reliable at all. Exactly. And instantly, like what? First 2 pitches and gives up a walk-off, double to Outman from the Dodgers. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Basically. So in this case, Mitch White is gone. Hicks comes in. That guy could have been Hicks. And also another point with that, we would have been even in a worse situation if it wasn't for Jay Jackson, who we acquired this year.
Yeah.
Who's an unsung hero of this bullpen. 35-year-old journeyman, broke out. And I think only allowed 1 earned run.
Yeah, he allowed...
Right, in his Blue Jays tenure this year. And then another trade we made, who's also killing it. Also a good trade, because it takes the pressure off Meza, because he's also a left-handed pitcher, which is a Genesis Cabrera.
Genesis, I believe.
Genesis Cabrera,
right.
Yeah.
No, so to mention a Genesis Cabrera point, right? Because obviously Jordan Hicks was obviously his teammate in St. Louis. Cabrera was struggling in St. Louis. Now, actually, no, I'm going to save this argument for the next one because we have to get to the Dodgers. That's why I want to bring this argument up. But like you said, we have a decent pitching staff, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
starting with Pete Walker and the bullpen guys we have.
Yeah, Pete Walker is one of the best.
Yeah, like even like the bullpen coaches we have, right? Because like Pete Walker's obviously not going to be in the bullpen sharing information directly, but behind the scenes, the bullpen staff / Pete Walker. So it depends on who your guy is. Like you look at the perfect example for me was Steven Matz. Pete Walker pretty much put it not in the Cy Young candidate, but he was like our elite, like 4th option.
Yeah, Steven Matz was coming off a poor year.
Poor year too, right?
Really bad year.
It depends on what happens, what team you're going to as well, and how much you believe in it. This is where you want to look at like a guy like Cabrera. We give up Sammy Hernandez, right? Don't know much about him. He's a prospect. Probably wasn't gonna get called up anytime soon unless he went nuts, right? Those are the type of guys you want to like look at. Genesis Cabrera to see who's struggling. That you could like a guy like Pete Walker could say, you know what, I could fix that. Go trade for him.
The thing is, not even that. Genesis Cabrera had good years.
Yeah,
he was just struggling this year. Jordan Hicks, had a good first year and a good second year, but then missed the COVID year. Obviously sat out. And the 2 years following that, which was last year and the 2 years ago, struggled over 4 ERA. But then this year he's bouncing back. with a under 4 ERA.
Yeah, so no, my point, like, obviously in this case, his trade value went up. I'm saying like a guy like Cabrera, his trade value was going down.
Yeah, no.
So
like,
can you find a guy and talk to Pete Walker and be like, hey, Pete, can you fix this? And if he says yes, bring him in and then trust Pete Walker. Now you'll have a situation like Brand fucking Hand, who screwed up for us in that COVID year, I believe, or the year after that. And then you're gonna have situations like that. Kikuchi last year, for example, to the point where Pete Walker was turning on Twitter, like, I thought this guy was a god pitching coach, but Kikuchi was struggling. Now Kikuchi's back to being better version of Kikuchi, which was in his Seattle days. So the key thing is here is, like, as a trade deadline for every team is, can you find those, low
hidden gems, yeah.
Hidden gems in this potential
And right now,
thing.
Jay Jackson, well, I think was a sign.
Well, he was assigned. Yeah, he was meant to be a AAA signing.
Yeah,
too.
and he's a hidden gem right now because he's killing it. Genesis Cabrera, hidden gem for sure. But it's not even that. Like, it's like, you gotta get these players that, like, had, like, Steven Matz, right? And Genesis Cabrera. They had good years, and they're just coming off a bad year, right?
Yeah.
So those are the ones you look at because those are ones like Pete Walker's, like, the thing with, then Pete Walker's role becomes, how do I get this guy back to what he was doing well, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the main focus of the coach. And obviously you'll throw in his adjustments depending on, like, mechanics.
Last thing
and stuff.
about the Jays, what do you see them doing? Obviously, I don't think they're gonna go big name hunting, which they already kind of did with Jordan Hicks at this point, right? Like, he was the best, arguably best, realistic option available
for the bullpen.
I don't think they go for a starter, depending on, obviously, Ryu's.
No, we're not going for starter.
Ryu's starting literally after the trade deadline, so we're not gonna know how he is. Bat wise, I'm pretty sure we'll go after, like, hopefully, like, another power bat type guy who could be available, which we'll get into in a second here.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it right now, bullpen is, like, fully, like, all the junk is cleared out, right? Like, Mitch White's gone, Pearson. I mean, I'm not saying Pearson has good moments and bad moments, but Pearson's gonna have a tough time getting into that bullpen.
Yeah, it's fine. He needs competition.
That's
that's a guy you don't trade unless you're getting a big piece back, right? Like, Nate,
yeah, like,
I'm a huge Nate Pearson fan because of that fastball. He just needs to work on his other pitches a little bit more.
And then Simber, who has been so good for us, is injured, and he'll find a tough time to get back into that bullpen.
Yeah, because
we got. I know I'm like off topic right now, but quickly just listing the bullpen. We got Romano, we got Richards, who's obviously got a great year himself. We have Jay Jackson, we have Genesis Cabrera, we have Tim Meza, we have Eric Swanson, and we have Yimi Garcia. That's 7 guys right there that, like, we could put in at any point, apart from Romano. Yeah. Put in at any point. Like, say we need someone in the 5th inning, we put in this guy, or we get someone in the 8th inning. We could legit put him anywhere, and all those pitches could be put in anywhere, basically.
Yeah. So, for me, Jays, can you get a pinch hit bat, especially? Like,
it's not even like you could use an outfield.
Yeah, I know a name we're linked to is Tommy Pham. Cody Bellinger, who is off the market now. But I'm just like in general, like, I don't care what handed bat, just a switch hitter would be perfect. But
you definitely gotta get a bat for sure, because now
that's where we're struggling.
That's where we're struggling, because last year it's just like this ball club just hitting, but they suck at everything else.
Yeah.
This year it's like a pitching and defense ball club, but hitting is letting them down.
Elite defense too.
Yeah, especially in the outfield.
Yeah. So,
you definitely got to add a bat for sure.
Yeah, I think they'll go for a bat and that's it. Like, is a random Whit Merrifield. Like, no one thought Whit Merrifield was to be available last year, to that extent. Obviously I'm not saying Whit Merrifield. I would rather get, like, a power bat for sure, right? Like
it's not even power. It's just like a clutch bat, because the issue is runners in scoring position.
Exactly. So, especially in the pinch hit situations.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, let's move on. Dodgers, I alluded them quickly. They made a trade. They reacquired Joe Kelly and they added Lance Lynn from the White Sox. So, like the Cardinals, White Sox are selling. They already got rid of Lucas Giolito and
Ronaldo
Lopez. They still have a guy named Dylan Cease who potentially could be available.
I don't think Cease is going there.
But Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly are going to the Dodgers in exchange for pitching prospects Nick Nastrini, Jordan Leisure, and outfielder Klay Thompson's brother, Trace Thompson. So he's an everyday player. He's not really a prospect, but
yeah, he's also on the injury list.
Yeah, so these guys are going to the White Sox. White Sox, very, very underwhelming team after, a couple of years ago, they're trying to get into the playoffs, which they did, I think.
And the year we missed it, by one game, they were in.
Yeah, so last year struggled again. This year, very underwhelming team, right? The But the Dodgers, and I know you're not a huge fan of this trade for them because of Lance Lynn. Why is that?
Because Lance Lynn's best years are behind him now, right? I think he had a decent year last year, and obviously the year with the one probably had a good year when they made the playoffs.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure they won the division. That's how they made the playoffs that year, not wild card. But the thing is, Lance Lynn right now, he's like above 6 ERA.
Yeah,
right. And I don't know how much like Dodgers had leverage, but like whatever they wasted.
He was very close to going to the Rays. Apparently, that was the news where
obviously
Dodgers came out of nowhere.
He's gonna be a big target for sure. But the thing with like the Dodgers is like, couldn't you get anyone better?
This is where my Genesis Cabrera take came in. Now, I was saying, yes, you're right. Lance Lynn was struggling, but how much will the culture and setting of the team, how good and bad, affect them? And it's the same thing. How good is the Dodgers pitching coaches? Clearly, they have decent pitching coaches. You know, Julio Urias, Clayton Kershaw, to name
Urias
two.
has been struggling this year, but
just in general, he's been up and down.
Yeah.
But is it the same thing? Like, hey, I could see something in Lance Lynn. He could help us. I could just tweak a few things here. It will be fine, right? That could be the other option.
Also, like,
and you bring in a bullpen arm, a familiar bullpen arm back in Joe Kelly.
Yeah, and also like they have in my opinion, two key starters that I know of that are on the injured list, which was Walker Buehler, who had.
Yeah.
I don't know if he had Tommy John last year.
Did not hear his name once.
Yeah, he's injured. He's gonna. They said he should be ready before the playoffs. And then Tony Gonsolin, I think, and then Clayton Kershaw. I think 3/5 of their starting rotation have been on the injured list this year, right? Leaving with only like Julio Urias. They're calling up their pitching prospects. I think one of them was Emmett Shaheen, who has to pitch in the majors. And then, so obviously Lance Lynn will help them for now. But I just felt like they could have gone somewhat better.
It also depends on who their prospects are, right? Because keep in mind, they've made big trades in the past with the Scherzer and Trey Turner trade. So
that was a big
big set of...
Oh, that's a big cost. Like, price was huge.
It also depends on what they had, and they took advantage of, if they think I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Dave Roberts is a great coach. Obviously, their playoff woes still continue, but let's see what they could do. So that's the Dodgers side of things. Let's move on to the buyers and sellers here.
Yeah.
We mentioned potential teams that could be buyers and sellers, and I'll just pull up the standings. Off the bat, let's go with the Mets.
Yeah,
Very garbage year.
It's absolutely terrible.
Verlander should get traded too, in my opinion. Like, at that age, especially, like, you might as well.
Are you paying him that much money?
Yeah, you might as well get off that money and go after Shohei, like you probably will, right? With that rich owner you have.
Yeah. Verlander should get traded.
They have Tommy Pham. They're 18 games off first. How many? That doesn't even matter. Let's see the wild card. They're 6.5 out. So it could happen, but they already moved on from Max Scherzer, right?
They already moved on from, like, obviously.
They lost Jake DeGrom.
That was earlier in the year, off season. But one of the key things was why they got David Robertson, and David Robertson was performing well, so it's not even on this fully.
Yeah.
It was Edwin Diaz being injured in the World Baseball Classic. But the thing is, they replaced him with David Robertson, I believe. Yeah. And then he was killing it. He's an old guy, but he's also killing it. He was killing it for them. Who's also a Marlin now.
They also added Kodai Senga, big Japanese guy that was coming in, free agent. Yeah, so, like, obviously on the offensive side of things, Francisco Lindor was struggling early on. Pete Alonso is just a power bat at this point, it seems like. Marcus Kanya Brandon Nimmo they brought back.
Mark Hanna and Tommy Pham will be like the two big batting.
Yeah, like
targets.
Brandon Nimmo's not going anywhere. So
yeah, they'll be the two big batting targets. Lindor's not getting traded either.
Yeah, so Verlander's almost off the books anyways. You might as well just trade him. Blue Jays were rumored. I don't think it's happening, but like Houston going back, for example, was an option. And Houston, is struggling themselves more than we thought. Obviously injuries don't help. Jordan Alvarez was injured for a bit there. I don't know if he still is, but yeah. So that's one team. We mentioned St. Louis. Again, another team that we had in our F tier. Spoilers, but check out our tier list video to see where we had these teams ranked based on our opinion
by the All-Star break.
Yeah. So this is
like
not
mid-season ranking type thing.
Yeah, but
St. Louis. I mean, I don't think Arenado is going to get traded.
Yeah, that was a rumor. They were saying I think the Dodgers were heavily in talks.
Yeah, they were heavily in talks for Arenado, but I think the Cardinals are going to back out of that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Cardinals already got rid of like what? One of their best relief pitchers, one of their best starters already.
Yeah.
Montgomery and Hicks. So I don't know. Like we'll see who else they have to get rid of.
So another team that was interesting that reports came out on were the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
And that was my most disappointing team because I had them in the World Series preseason. Now, their top players have been doing well. Blake Snell, Josh Hader, Fernando Tatis Jr. came back and was doing well. Xander Bogaerts was the one that was but even Juan Soto was okay, decent. And who's their last guy? I think that's it, right?
Batting wise?
Batting wise.
You got Yu Darvish and Joe Musgrove as well.
Yeah, Joe Musgrove was the guy I was thinking of.
Josh Hader, you said that?
Yeah. So they are rumored to, at the time, this was a couple of days ago, 2 days ago, Padres listening to offers for Soto, Hader, and Snell. Now keep in mind, they traded for a big package with Juan Soto. He hasn't signed the extension yet, right? He rejected a $450 million extension with the Nationals. Okay, yeah, a lot of money you turn down, but a young player doesn't want to be the Nationals, fine. You go to the team like this. Did well last year in the playoffs, even though they obviously ultimately got destroyed by the Phillies, but they weren't supposed to they weren't supposed to beat the Dodgers, NLCS.
Yeah, NLCS, yeah.
And Josh Hader, first came in, struggled. Now this finished off that year well last year, and this year did well. Blake Snell, been a Cy Young candidate this year. Obviously, walks were a problem, especially against the Jays. Are they going to trade him is the question. Now, they've been on a resurgent. So, in terms of the standings, they're still 5 games out. So, are they going to do the Angels approach and keep everybody, which I feel like they are? And they're 5.5 out of the third wildcard spot, which is now occupied by Milwaukee. And then in terms of division, they're not catching up. It's 8.5 out of the division. So the question is, what are they doing, right? Do you think they're doing a Angels approach and they're gonna just try to go all the way?
I think they're just gonna wait for the last minute or deadline to really fully assess.
I feel like they'll move them if it's big offers, right? Otherwise they're not gonna.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure if any of these guys are free agents, free agents, or
Blake
they have
Snell.
arbitration cases. Blake Snell might be, right?
He has Blake Snell. I don't know about Hader, but I know Blake Snell is for sure.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing to watch. I don't know if they should be buyers or sellers or stay put. Anything can go on baseball, right? If you go on a hot streak, like I said, you could randomly just go. Literally, the Braves were a 500 team at the deadline, made all these changes, and they became buyers instead of sellers, and went on to win it all. So, that's a team that I'm interested in seeing to see what they do. I still, with that talent, I'm willing to bet on that talent.
Yeah, I could bet on
it.
it.
For me,
too.
it's different with the Angels because that's only one guy you're relying on.
Yeah.
2 guys potentially you're relying on now, right? And this one, you have pitching talent, small bullpen talent in terms of closing games, and you have arguably some of the top hitting young guys in the league right now.
Yeah, they definitely have the talent. The thing with them is when we did their ranking, they're the Mets were 9-10 games behind 500, and obviously they went on a streak now where they're only 2 or 3 below 500. So
they're 5, I believe, but yeah.
Is it 5?
Sorry, 3.
Yeah, it was 3. So
I'm mixed up with them.
It was a 5. I was it was 5. Go sell the team.
Yeah, no, it's 3. So
you gotta be selling.
You don't have to look at the 500 either. You gotta look at how many spots you're behind, right?
That 5, usually in baseball, if you're a 500 record, you're kind of in the hunt, right?
Unless you're in the AL Central, but yeah.
Oh yeah. No, AL Central, you just gotta be 500.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You could be under 500 for a little bit and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
but
unless you're the AL East, where it's the opposite.
Yeah.
And then so the Padres have put themselves in a position where they need to make a decision, right? Where because they have enough talent, like you said, that they should bet on to make the playoffs and go on a run in this, last 2 months of the season. So I think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna be sellers. I don't even think they're gonna get anyone. Maybe a small bullpen guy. Maybe a small
at this point,
small guy who could hit, a cheap guy.
Are you gonna get someone realistically the value of Soto? Probably not at this point. Knowing that you have to give Soto $400 million contract, even close to
knowing how much you gave up just to get Soto.
Exactly. Not even just that, but give a team that needs to give up the contract. You have to give him a contract, right? Same thing with potentially Josh Hader. Yeah, so guys like that. So I think they stay put. Me personally, I'll bet on that talent and see, if they can go on a run to pass the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are kind of coming back to earth a little bit, even though they're still killing it based on their standards. Yeah, so intriguing team to see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna go down right to the deadline, right to the last hour. We'll definitely see who else gets moved. So I guess when you're like watching your games for like the early games fans, you'll just be hearing trades during the game, right? So we'll see what happens there.
Another team, the Cubs, and they
went on a run.
Yeah, so they're 53 and 52 now, 3.5 away from first. So are they gonna? They already just announced today that they're not gonna trade
Bellinger.
Do you still see him unless something crazy happens? Unless a crazy trade offer for Stroman happens or that. But 3.5 game out is realistic, especially 3.5 in the division which Milwaukee holds, right? I don't think they'll catch the Cincinnati Reds.
Milwaukee and Cincinnati.
58, 53.
Milwaukee and Cincinnati like head to head. Like
they're 4 games off division. So
yeah,
if I'm the Cubs, I might as well just stay.
Just take your chance, right?
Take your chance now. Before the couple from like All-Star break, you're like, yeah, they're gonna sell.
Because like when we did a ranking, they were 5 games below 500.
Yeah.
Right, and now they went on this 8-game win streak.
And now they're a game above.
And now they're a game above, right? You have this good young pitcher in Justin Steele who's been absolutely killing it, and also a Cy Young candidate for the NL. Marcus Stroman had
another Cy Young candidate-ish.
Yeah, had a freaking bounce back year, like from his Blue Jays days. And then you got Dansby Swanson, you got Cody Bellinger who's been lighting it up as well. So
yeah, if I'm dumb,
Ian Happ as well.
If I'm dumb, just buy. Can you add like a?
Can you add a bat? Can you add like? I don't know anyone in the bullpen, but like, if you could add someone there as well, like, just why not?
We're still learning baseball on the fly. We're not, experts or anything, but as much as we know, we're spewing that information out. So yeah, the Cubs. I'm now.
The Blue Jays. We know the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Blue Jays we know. But even then, like the targets for Blue Jays, we wouldn't really know who to go after.
Nah, I know that.
Some of the names.
Yeah, like Tommy Pham. I would down to get Tommy
outside.
Pham.
I'm talking about like if the Cubs were sellers, who in their bullpen would you want?
In the Cubs bullpen?
Yeah, that might be good that you don't know.
No one.
Exactly, but I'm just saying in general.
Because I wanted Jordan Hicks.
Okay. Last team I want to get into here that's disappointing, and I don't know what they're gonna do. And before you get into some trade targets that could be available. Seattle Mariners. And obviously they recently just came up a 2-1 series win over the Jays, but again, they're still only a game over 500. They were a team that was supposed to be easily second in this division.
Yeah,
they're fourth.
For sure.
They're fourth, right? They're 5 games out of the wild card spot on the Jays right now and the Astros, so they're 5 games off the Astros as well. 1 game behind the Angels still, and they have to jump teams like the Angels, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, Jays, and Astros to just even get in.
Yeah, there's a lot. The wildcard race is definitely, there's a lot of teams going after it.
Is that a team that stays pat? I don't think they'll sell anyone really. Like, who do they really have that they could sell? They gave Luis
Hernandez.
Huh? Yeah, that's the only guy.
Like batting wise, right?
That's a guy like him. I'm the Jays. Bring him back for sure.
Yeah, like genuinely, genuinely fits. Like, Teoscar Hernandez getting out, coming back to the Jays. Definitely. He says,
I wouldn't say no either, even in free agency. So
yeah, no. I mean, there's definitely. I don't think they're gonna do anything. Like, I think they're gonna stay put. But it's like me a team if they get a sick offer for a guy, they'll probably do it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, not. Like, obviously, they're not gonna get rid of like Julio, right? I don't think they're gonna get rid of Luis Castillo.
Because they extended both of them. One Julio's their young piece. So like, why would they get rid of him? So like the guys are like Kyle Rowley and all these guys, and I think they're still gonna be a team that still tries to go on a run, which they did last year too. So I think those are the teams I really wanted to get into. The Pirates decided to go from first to worst, almost worst in the division, but yeah. You got any trade targets you want to talk?
I mean, they're like.
That you're the baseball guy out of the both of us.
Right, but like some of the ones that I've seen, obviously just like a little bit outdated, but another White Sox guy who's been struggling, Tim Anderson.
Yeah.
Definitely could be an ad for a lot of teams, especially because he has been doing good since the All-Star break. Lance Lynn's already got traded as well, so Tommy Pham, we talked about him, right? He's having a decent year. He's 35 years old. And then in June, I think he had like an insane run where he was hitting like 30-40. batting average. Another former Blue Jay is Randall Grichuk, who's hitting 300.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting him back either.
He's from Colorado right now, so definitely, I think he's definitely a piece that should be able to get traded, and also he's like a cheap beast, right? He's not gonna cost too much for a team.
Yeah. So I just opened up a list on my laptop here, and obviously Jordan Montgomery, according to them, was the best. He's gone. Jaimer Candelario. Yeah,
from the Nationals. Yeah, he's
Michael
definitely
Lorenzen from the Tigers. Tommy Pham.
The thing with Michael Lorenzen, he's a multi-inning guy as well.
Jack
from the bullpen.
Yeah.
Jack Flaherty is a starter for the Cardinals this year.
Yeah. Jordan Hicks just got traded to the Jays. Eduardo Rodriguez, you mentioned, right?
Yeah. No, he's one of the big starters that could get traded for the
Dylan
Tigers.
Carlos. So Cardinals are literally selling. Scott Barlow from the Royals.
Yeah, he's having a down year compared to what he did last year. But
again, that's a guy I wouldn't mind betting.
You would definitely get him.
Mark Hanna.
Yeah, Mark Hanna.
Paul DeYoung, again, another Cardinal, which already got traded. Paul Sewald from the Mariners is a big one.
Paul Sewald. That's definitely a big one.
That's a big one.
Obviously, Teoscar Hernandez, we mentioned. Another interesting one that I'm seeing right now, because Cleveland Guardians haven't been as good as they were last year, was Shane Bieber.
Yeah. They're also just right there too, so it's tough.
Yeah.
With that division, they might just bet on it and just win the division. Yeah, those are some of the top names I've recognized. Justin Verlander, I mentioned. Max Scherzer already got traded.
Like the starting pitching in this deadline, like for targets, like it came to a point where like Ohtani, Snell, Shane Bieber, Eduardo Rodriguez, Marcus Stroman,
Cody Bellinger.
I'm talking like starting pitching.
Oh, pitching. Sorry.
Lucas Giolito. Like all these guys were like available at one point.
Oh, this is also,
and obviously some of them got
this
traded.
is a decent name available too, especially with the emergence of Ellie De La Cruz, Johnathan India.
Oh yeah, that was definitely one too. Shortstop replacement.
Yeah. You mentioned David Bednar, he's 49 on this list. I think it's only because the realism factor.
He's too valuable.
You're a huge fan of him, right? So
he's having a historically good year for the thing is he's on the Pirates, and he's definitely like one of the Pirates' most valuable pieces. So he's gonna cost like a lot just to get. He's gonna cost definitely like a top 10 prospect in the pool.
Yeah. All right. Let me just quickly check any rumors with any of these insiders. Twitter is throwing me off because they're now called X, and
I thought Elon Musk would have made Twitter better. I actually thought that. Right?
Yeah. Obviously not.
But yeah, that's downhill. Like what? There's now like a Twitter tweet limit, right? Like how much you could read, how much you could tweet, and all that stuff. So, have you reached a limit yet?
I haven't never touched it. I don't know if it's actually there or not. That's the thing.
And then, like, all this verifications bullshit. I don't understand it. I still don't know how to use it.
You haven't even used it yet.
I don't use it. I genuinely don't understand how it works.
Okay, one sec. I'm just trying to find a Jeff Passan or someone on this. But, I'm seeing a lot of soccer news, which we might have to get into in a bit. Oh, here we go. Jeff Passan. Okay, that's just the Jordan Hicks stuff. Talking baseball might be a good one. Yeah, I don't see much.
I mean, the main rumors come like on Tuesday, obviously, but yeah.
It ends it's actually later than the NBA and NHL ones. This ends at 3 PST, 6 Eastern.
That's actually sick.
So
they'll go on for majority of
it might be sick. It might not be sick for fans of teams that might be selling players and having a heart attack of who they're going to get rid of, or even like guys like us who are looking for bats. Like last year, I remember I'm like, who the fuck are the Blue Jays going to trade for? and I'm sitting at work just trying to figure that out.
Like Whit Merrifield and like Anthony Bass. Those are like big deadline acquisitions. And Zach Pop.
Yeah.
Also, that's Zach Pop is another bullpen guy we forgot to mention, who's having a good year until he got injured as well.
Yeah.
And also another thing for Jordan Hicks is like Blake Snell you mentioned, he has a walk issue as well.
Yeah.
So kind of if Pete Walker could fix that command, we got ourselves a steal. If you could re-sign him as well.
Yeah. Okay, let me just check trades. Any trades that actually happened that are low. Nicky Lopez for Taylor Hearn, which is Braves get Nicky Lopez from the Royals. Yeah, so the Max Scherzer trade is a 1-for-1. Him, Max Scherzer and cash for Acuna.
Yeah, I saw that.
Kendall Graveman to the Astros for Corey Lee, White Sox. David Robertson got traded for Marco Vargas and Ronald Hernandez. Carlos Santana to the Brewers.
David Robinson's Marlins, by the way.
Yeah. Already mentioned Giolito last time.
Okay. Giolito last
Let's
time.
get into NFL. And we had some breaking news yesterday, or on Saturday at this point, and involving the Colts. And not on the good thing, as a bad thing, because we were having all these running back talks, and the name we mentioned was Johnathan Taylor. And it's been announced that Johnathan Taylor has officially requested a trade from the Indianapolis Colts. And there's a lot of things we need to go into in this, because it's not just Johnathan Taylor. This could have been any running back, because we had this situation with Austin Eckler earlier in the year. And the reason why this trade is happening is, last episode we talked about Jim Irsay's comments, Johnathan Taylor's changing agent, and it's actually his new agent, trying to get a deal done. Irsay has come out and said this was not directed at, the comments were not directed just at Johnathan Taylor or at Johnathan personally. And he also did disclose that a contract offer was not given yet. Extension was not given yet, which surprised me a little bit. And obviously because of that, JT at practices, he's on the PUP list, so he is genuinely hurt. He did not pass the medical, and he is not practicing, but he's there, and you could just tell by his face that he doesn't want to be there, or whatever the case. He's just pissed off, right? And yeah, so first thoughts, as a Colts fan, remind me not to get attached to a running back ever again, just not because it's JT. I'm just saying because of the stupid market and all that stuff.
Bro, we were like, yo, Johnathan Taylor's sick. Yo, this guy's gonna be back healthy this year. Anthony Richardson, that backfield duos will be nice. Read option game will be nice and all that stuff. Then we got a notification saying, or whatever, Johnathan Taylor mentioning that he wanted to be a Colt for life. We're all pumped up. This guy's gonna get a contract extension. And obviously there's a running back issue it is, but I genuinely thought we would give Johnathan Taylor the extension. Yeah, and if we're going to tag one, I thought they would have tagged Pittman, but I guess that's not going to happen. But yeah, and they were like, yeah, Colt for life. Ballard's like, yeah, we're working on extension talks. We're like, yo, everything's going good. We finally have a quarterback. Shaq Leonard's getting back healthy. Hopefully the O-line bounces back. And then
yesterday was such a good day. Saturday was such a good day for us because we released the G-Win podcast. By the way, check that out. We went to a Vancouver Canadians game, which was a fun game to go to itself. The fights were crazy. Everything was going good except for the Johnathan Taylor trade.
Requested a trade.
It feels weird because and from any of my teams, I think the last time I remember a player requesting out was Ryan Kessler back in 2015, 2014 season, right? So, yeah. So for my thoughts, it's if you go on Twitter and you see everybody's thoughts on this running back situation, we're gonna echo the same thing. He has no market, right? Because Austin Eckler did not get traded. He's still on the Chargers. Dalvin Cook is still not signed. There are some news updates on that, but Dalvin Cook did not get signed. You're looking at guys like Saquon Barkley did not get an extension, and he's a guy you would trade for. Josh Jacobs did not get an extension. And then some players are taking pay cuts as well, right?
Aaron Jones was one.
Yeah.
So the thing is this: if you're looking at a coach perspective, right? You ain't trading your best offensive player for a 4th round pick just because he wants out.
Yeah.
Right? And obviously the Colts are doing the smart business move. It may not be what do you call it? Ethical, whatever, to the player, the relationship.
Let's make this clear. If McCaffrey's at $16 million a year, Johnathan Taylor is deserved of a 4-year, $14 million contract, $15 million.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially at this age. He had his first injury-ridden year, which is why it's affecting his contract. But that's the fear, right? Because the injuries in the game. Sorry, I cut you off. I'll let you go for a second.
Fuck was I saying?
Okay, whatever. I'll go then if you think about it.
What am I supposed to, how the hell did I forget?
It's just because that's the ethical.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah. Colts are making a smart business move because they're like, I ain't fucking trading you. Yeah. Basically, right? Because you have the 1-year control, right? Then you got 2 franchise tags for another 2 years. So realistically, you got 3 years on him, right? And obviously there's a fine Taylor has to pay for
$40K, I think,
for holding out. And I don't think Johnathan Taylor is that type of player that will hold out.
Who knows, man? His owner's a piece of shit. Oh, sorry, not his owner.
His agent.
His agent's a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's also being unprofessional too, right?
Yeah.
Like Irsay is too. Don't get me wrong, but here's
the thing.
his agent's not helping.
People comparing Irsay to Dan Schneider, I've saw that a little bit, is bullshit because Dan Schneider did not give a shit about his players and team in general. Because when you look at the turnout of do you see the picture of the turnout of Dan Schneider of the Washington Commanders last year to this year? Of the practices last year, completely empty, like probably like 3 people. This year, Kevin Durant showed up, right, and it was packed. Jim Irsay, no matter what this is the one thing he did tell Johnathan Taylor. Yeah, he did because he confirmed it. He's like, hey, there's no other franchise, whether you agree with Irsay or not, for giving that money. For example, Quentin Nelson, Shaq Leonard, who did get injured the next year, right? That treat their players as well as the Colts do. You get a prime example. Andrew Luck is the highest paid QB. DeForest Buckner got an immediate extension, making him one of the highest D tackles in the game, right? And then now you got Shaq Leonard. You got Braden Smith, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson. I would not be as surprised if Johnathan Taylor would have gotten like, a 2-3 year contract as even for like $14 million a year. Now, we don't know what the Colts want to offer, and we don't know what JT's asking for, right? Realistically, from what I've been seeing on Twitter based on these Colts insiders, they're saying that, Colts fans are saying, no matter what, I'm giving JT 3 years, $13 million, right? And then one of the insiders said, I agree with that. I want to give JT that money, but JT is asking for more. And we don't know if he's asking for 4 or 5 year deals, which, to your point earlier, is like that franchise tag thing, like the classic tear on the body. And we don't know if he's asking for like $17-18 million to reset the market. And in this case, I do agree with the Colts. They always reset the market. For example, Shaq Leonard reset the market. Quentin Nelson reset the market, right? Andrew Luck, which that one's obvious.
As quarterback, that one makes sense.
So you got to reset the market there. Yeah. So at this point, I don't know, because like his owner, as much as Irsay can be annoying and stuff like that, we get it. He's also 100% right.
His agent's also being annoying too.
His agent is not helping the situation, because you could tell that a couple of months ago you mentioned, I want to be a Colt for life. Changed his, and then he didn't get his contract. Now his demeanor changed, and his agent being a factor, like, oh yeah, this relationship is irreparable. This, I hope it's like the Deebo Samuel / Lamar Jackson situation. Now their positions are different, even though Deebo Samuel was a wide back, which is the funniest thing to say in the world. But I still want JT on this team. You want JT on this team. Yes, I'm a little detached, but if his agent is being a prick and he's not gonna come down to it, because at the end of the day, even if Johnathan Taylor requested this trade, be honest, and I know you're gonna agree with what I'm saying here, Miami trades for him, but are they really gonna? They didn't give up a 7th round pick for Dalvin Cook. What makes? And I get it, Dalvin Cook's a little older, but what makes you think they're gonna give us like let's say a 5th, less than a 5th round pick? And you have to extend him, right? So what is his value at this point?
If the Colts trade Johnathan Taylor for a 4th round pick, I'm pissed.
Yeah,
I'm be like,
there's a reason why.
I'm be like, what the hell are you doing, Colts?
As much as I agree with Eckler that like, hey, you don't value me, you're not paying me, but then you're also asking for a 1st, 2nd round pick. Now, I agree with the Eckler side of things, but I also agree with the Chargers side of things. Both things could be true. And to your point, I would be pissed off if you don't get at least like a 2nd or a 3rd for Johnathan Taylor. Christian McCaffrey got 2, 3, 4, 5. And Travis Etienne probably bringing up some, facts for sure. He's like, now it's our job as running backs to propel our game. You look at Christian McCaffrey, he's no longer just a running back. Even though how dominant he is as a running back, he's also like a slot receiver, you could say. Yeah. Right? JT is a good screen pass runner. Is he an elite,
He's not an elite receiver.
Right, as of right now, no. But he's definitely more...
He's improving.
He's better than... I think he's better than what Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook as receivers, for sure. But he ain't no Christian McCaffrey yet. Saquon is the guy, you could say he's closer to Christian McCaffrey in that sense, right? Even in his former teammate, Nyheim Hines was that catch guy, usually not JT. But that doesn't... Also, it's such a weird argument to make, because now our bias is involved. But both sides are right, like 100% right. The owners and the GMs, they're right in their situation, because the market is so bad that, like, how are you, like there are reports coming out saying, like, other GMs are like, well, in a couple of years, we could just draft this guy, right? Like, look at Bijan Robinson. He's killing it right now. Is Bijan Robinson going to propel his game like Christian McCaffrey? We'll see. Time will tell. I know he's his elite running back. There's a reason why he went 8th overall to the Falcons or whenever the Falcons picked this year. And But I will not be surprised in like 3 years' time, which is literally Johnathan Taylor's time going into his 4th year, is Bijan Robinson gonna be this exact same situation.
The thing with Bijan Robinson is like Johnathan Taylor. They're like happy guys as well.
Yeah.
Right? They're happy, humble dudes and willing to put in the work as
now
well.
Now Johnathan Taylor's flipped it.
And now Johnathan Taylor's like
pissed
off.
I think the reason why he's not getting his contract is because of the injury last year. So I think JT will end up playing. And I hope he proves his worth and he gets paid. Like, I don't want any player not to get paid. Not get paid, right? Because, like, that's your job. You're playing football. You want to get security. And I agree with the running backs there. Yeah, so to your points, the ethical side of things is fucked. Does a new CBA thing need to happen? Obviously, Irsay completely disagrees with that. Excuse me. But, yeah, so that's my take on this, John.
It's like everyone is right and everyone is wrong at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? And how do you...
People are handling it fucked up ways, too.
How do you fix a situation where, like, everyone is right and everyone's wrong at the same time?
Yeah. So for Johnathan Taylor, and I'm seeing, again, I agree with all the reports I see on Twitter or like people tweeting their opinions. You're just digging yourself a hole at this point. He is, because you're at least what your owner is saying, or fuck, why do I keep saying his owner? His agent is saying, you know, it reflects you unless you speak out on it, right? And people are advising him to change the agent, obviously. He's ruining your money anyways. Like, okay, now, even if the Colts don't pay you, which the most likely team will pay you will be the Colts, because usually you'll get paid by your own running back unless you're just a leader.
Team, yeah.
Unless you're like Christian McCaffrey and you're willing to give up like 2, 3, 4 second round, like second, third, and or fourth.
But then again, Panthers did lock him up too.
Yeah, exactly. But you're hurting your value by being like throwing a hissy fit, even though he's not really publicly putting a hissy fit. I'm saying, like, in terms of what your agent is saying out there.
You're related to someone who's doing it.
Yeah, and you're not coming out and saying against it. You've come out and said, like, yeah, running back should get paid, and which is fair game. Like, every running back should say that.
Say that. That's
but you're ruining your chances of getting your money because now you're requested a trade, and no one's gonna willing to trade you. The more you wait, the chances are you ain't gonna get paid. So the only way he's gonna get paid is if he plays this year, is healthy. Let's just say the Colts go on
the Colts make the playoffs, and it's because of Johnathan Taylor.
He's gonna get paid somewhere. He should get paid somewhere.
And if he doesn't at that point, then it's just fucked up.
Then it's fucked up. But we'll get into our NFL predictions in a month from now, most likely, before the season starts. We obviously don't project the Colts doing anything crazy. It's a tough prediction to make this year in the NFL for every team, but it's just like you're hurting your own chances to get the money because you are with an owner that takes care of his players, and he's done that many times in the past. Right? You can't say it was a one-time thing. He did that with Shaq Leonard. No, he did it to us. There's a reason why we're the highest paid O-line, because they were all drafted or acquired by the Colts at a younger age. DeForest Buckner is a perfect example that you valued him so much that you wanted to pay him right away. I know JT's available like that. You just gotta, if JT is healthy, which he's gonna be proven healthy most likely by the season starts because he was injured for all of last year, is Zach Moss if Zach Moss outperforms you next year, you just fuck yourself up. Simple as that.
As simple as that. I mean, there's nothing else to really touch. It's just another story for the running back situation, and is directly affecting our team.
Yeah.
Which is the worst part. So that's why we have
we have ties into this. That's why we were more, a
little bit more.
You'll see a more passionate side when it's involved our teams for sure.
Yeah.
But moving on. Last comment quickly. JT, hopefully you change your mind and we don't want to trade you. And Irsay, you actually offer him a contract and see. But Irsay did confirm that no contract offer probably.
No, not even that, man. That's just too much. JT just fucking play this year. That's it. That's all. Hopefully,
I'll just play and ball out, and then you'll get your money most likely by the Colts. Hopefully. Speaking of running backs, Dalvin Cook is meeting with the Jets, and not surprising, especially with the restructured Aaron Rodgers contract where he took the massive pay cut. Dalvin Cook might get paid for a year. Who knows, right? You might get a 1 year, $15 million contract that, everybody thought Saquon may have gotten. So I'm not going to be surprised if that's the case. If they get Dalvin Cook and him and Breece Hall are your running back duo, good luck, essentially.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Speaking of the, former Viking, now current Viking, former Viking and Dalvin Cook. Current Viking, Danielle Hunter has agreed to a 1 year, $20 million contract. Again, he was tagged, I believe.
He was also, I think he was one of the players holding out as well.
Yeah, so includes a $17 million contract, no tag clause. Their team is still willing to entertain trade offers. Now, keep in mind, this is a pass rush position. It's a major position compared to a running back.
One of the biggest defensive positions.
So there's that news, and let me go to the other news, small news quickly. Injuries, Joe Burrow.
Strained calf.
Well, keep in mind, it did not look good when you saw the video.
Yeah, but strained calves, you gotta be like careful with it
because Kevin Durant. That's
right?
the thing.
So like you can't really.
He's out for a couple of weeks, that they're saying.
Yeah, no, but you can't really rush him back.
Kevin Durant was out for a bit, and then he rushed back, and you saw what happened.
Yeah. So there's definitely a situation in Cincinnati, and it could definitely lead to a point where like he misses first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then if you rush him back, he might miss the whole season because it could lead to a torn Achilles.
Money is on the line. I still think he should just get paid right now. It doesn't matter.
He's gonna get paid.
He should,
but
they'll make it use an excuse not to pay him right now.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to wait a little bit. Just don't rush him back. That's what I'm gonna say. Because if you rush him back and he gets a torn Achilles, that's his second major injury already.
Yeah,
with a torn ACL, MCL.
Yeah, in his rookie year.
When he got tackled by Chase Young.
Okay, so other injuries, notable injuries on the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean, there've been a few.
There are a few.
But, like, obviously, Joe Burrow is the biggest one. But that's the thing, is there anything wrong with training camp? Because there's a lot. Every year, there's always something.
That's why Shane Steichen said we're easing people into it on purpose. But if you want to see any more injuries, you could look at it, NFL injuries. But let me just read out some other news that came out. I forgot to mention, on the trade request, Jim Irsay did say no. So we ain't trading Johnathan. Yeah. Oh, you said that. Okay.
I said Colts are not trading.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying. I just wanted to clear that because I'm on the list. That's why. Patriots host running back Ezekiel Elliott on a free agent visit.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's another guy that's still available. Running back market. Make do. I think he was not caught. He was shown having lunch with I think Mac Jones.
Or Mac Jones.
Yeah. Oh. Dolphins signed Eli Apple.
Yeah. Okay.
Steelers signed Quan Alexander.
That's
if it's a Steelers thing.
Yeah.
Here's a little surprising news, but not really because it kind of makes sense. He's also a running back. Sony Michel has officially retired, known for especially for a big reason why the Patriots won the Super Bowl against the Rams that year.
Yeah. He did fall off. Like his production did fall off. Probably some with injuries as well, but yeah, 5 years as a first round pick, kind of not good to see, especially with the running back. What's going on with the running backs right now?
Steelers say rookie Monte Pottebaum, fullback, is retiring from the NFL.
Wait,
rookie fullback from the Steelers is retiring from the NFL. He is the only fullback on the roster. So I guess Derek Watt's not there?
He's not. He's a free agent.
Okay, so yeah, he's the only fullback, so which means Derek Watt might come back.
Why is it like? Is there a reason why he's retiring?
No, it just says it here.
Okay. Another thing I would like to say right now for NFL news is Travis Kelce.
Oh, yeah, because I was going to bring another beef thing too, but yeah, Travis Kelce was caught punching his teammate in the practice, and I know you have some takes, so I'll let you continue it for a second.
Yeah, first of all, when I saw the clip, the guy didn't do anything to him. I don't know why the hell he just turned
he went to body him or something. That's
nothing like it was a play, like there's one clip I saw. He caught a touchdown, the guy was holding him, obviously he was going to grab you a little bit. Football, the physical sport, right? Drops the ball, just starts punching him for no reason. Right? And then, like I just said, right? The Kansas City Chiefs are not winning the Super Bowl, and here's my reason why. The year the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship, in the offseason, Draymond Green did a 1-2 combo on Jordan Poole. And Jordan Poole wasn't the same player as he was the year one, and the Warriors were not the same team as they were in the championship run because their road record was absolutely dreadful and eventually eliminated by the Lakers in the playoffs. So here's my thing with the Chiefs. It's kind of like they're in a situation in the NBA where the Western Conference and the AL is the tougher conference. I mean, not AL, the AFC.
I was like, wait, what?
The AFC are the tougher conferences, right? So one little mishap like that.
So that's your conspiracy.
That's my conspiracy theory. Like, obviously, it might not be, I'm making it a bigger situation than it actually is. Because, but then again, Draymond is one of your leaders. So is Travis Kelce. So we'll see what happens, obviously. Because you could tell the Warriors were like, it genuinely affected the Warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to affect the Chiefs.
Now, we don't know the guy who he hit is kind of valued to his team as much as Jordan Poole is.
Yeah.
So
at that moment.
That is conspiracy theories with Jobin. why the Chiefs will not win the Super Bowl.
Why the Chiefs will not win.
A big injury, Jaylon Ramsey. What I mentioned.
That's a big injury.
I think this was a couple. I think we missed it last pod. I think it was then.
Yeah.
Knee injury. He's already got surgery and he'll miss the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season. I believe.
Yeah, that's a big loss.
The beef I was gonna bring up was Sean Payton versus the former. Now it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers, but I'm gonna get into. But just him just talking shit.
Yeah, Sean.
He came out and said he's not taking back what he said, but he's like, obviously I had my Fox hat on because he was with Fox Sports, and obviously I should have been better with that. But obviously he's not taking back what he said.
So like first you just, I think like shot on the Jets in general.
First he shot on the Broncos saying how shit they were last year.
And
stuff like that. Hackett was the guy.
And then he shot on the Jets.
Because of Hackett being there, and he started shitting on the Jets like, oh, they're the most like talked about team.
Right, like, and then, they haven't shown anything, whatever.
And then Aaron Rodgers.
Saleh responded back saying like, oh,
if he ain't got haters.
If you ain't got haters, you ain't doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, keep talking about us, especially when you're playing us in week 5.
Yeah.
And then Aaron Rodgers came out and said, keep my coach's name out of your mouth.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's I love it. I love the drama. So let's see.
There's been a lot of drama this training camp, right?
Yeah.
And
the running back's the major thing.
Yeah.
And
obviously Taylor for us.
So, speaking of
quickly, one point I was gonna make.
Yeah.
How much is this Taylor drama overshadowing a Pittman contract extension? Because I never heard anything about that yet.
Well, Pittman just says like, I'm here to have fun and I'm letting my agents do a thing. He's with Rock Nation Sports, I believe. Jay-Z owns sports agency. Pittman will get paid. That one I'm not. JT one, like, I thought he would have been the first running back to get paid because of the Colts. But where with Pittman, I feel like he is literally the vet in the room.
Yeah, he is a vet in the room.
Realistically, who's good and who's been there for a while.
All the wide receivers are 1 or 2 year players right now.
Yeah.
Like Pierce is second year.
Josh Downs. Like Ashton Dullin's good, but he's like he'll be a leader, especially in the special team side of things. But he ain't no Pittman for the team.
Yeah, he's not Pittman.
So we'll see with that. Hey, speaking of the Colts, A-Rich killing it at training camp apparently. So let's see how long.
I want him to start because I don't want to wait
I know
3-4 weeks.
We'll see what happens in preseason. Speaking of that, Zach Wilson, who's taking big leaps himself, which is good because you need a successor to Aaron Rodgers eventually.
Yeah.
Will play in Thursday night's Hall of Fame game. So this Thursday, NFL football is back.
Preseason, yeah.
Yeah. So preseason will kick off. It
sucks because I think Colts' first preseason game is the day I have an exam. But the thing is, like,
you have the zone, so you're good to come back to watch if you need to.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if I study before the exam or like watch the game.
I would say study because it's fucking preseason.
If Anthony Richardson's playing, I gotta watch that.
Okay. Yeah, that's it for the NFL from my end. Do you have anything?
No.
Okay, so let's go to some quickfire, and this quickfire might be a little bit longer than a quickfire. Fight recaps. Massive fights yesterday or Saturday. Because you want to go with boxing or you want to go with UFC?
We'll start with the boxing because
that was the bigger.
That was one fight.
Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford happened finally, and our predictions were you said Spence decision, I said Crawford decision, and obviously we ended up catching the fight, which I'm happy about. And Terrence Bud Crawford, is now your undisputed welterweight champion by beating Errol Spence in the 9th round TKO. Dropped him twice in round 7 and dropped him early in round 2. Pretty much dominated him the rest of the fight.
Ever since like round 2.
Before I let you continue, he's the first male boxer to, let me just get this exactly right, Bud only male 2 division undisputed champion. So he was already undisputed champion in like one of the lightweights. Like, you know how this boxing gets broken down.
Yeah,
like,
boxing.
So whatever's below this welterweight, I think he was undisputed there, went up, and now he's undisputed again.
Probably some like heavy lightweight shit like that. Whatever it is. Like, I don't know how this makes sense.
Heavyweight. but yeah,
he dominated. Like what Spence probably had the first round.
He made Spence look like he doesn't belong. And people thought they were like neck and neck for 1 and 2, which was fair before the fight. Fair,
yeah.
But Bud showed like, nah, it's just me and everybody else, kind of like Fury in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, so obviously we are anticipating a rematch.
No, we are most likely because Spence confirmed like he put his rematch clause in already.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I think the loser decides if they want to.
Yeah, but like it makes sense because like Spence has earned the respect to get a rematch, right? Because Spence was one of the top dogs.
He only won like one, maybe 2 rounds, questionably.
He won one, right? I'll say
Like out of the judges' scorecards that I saw, he won 1 round.
So like no, but my point is this: like, whoever won this fight, right? The loser deserved the respect and earned the shot to get a rematch to be a chance at becoming the
this
top
time
dog,
the weight
right?
might move up because these guys are at 147. Now they might go up to 154 because even they were drained at 147.
Yeah.
But Spence, credit to him, did not say like, "Oh, I agree to the weight, so better man won."
Yeah, so like,
but I do activate my rematch and try to get this done in the future. And Bud himself said like, "Yeah, I'm down to do 154."
Yeah, so like, my point I'm saying, like, these guys earned the respect, whoever lost, to get that rematch and to have a chance of being the top dog, because this does not deserve to be a 1-fight runoff, right?
This
has to be a trilogy.
It's just such a one-sided affair. It reminds me of Fury Wilder 2.
Yeah.
That it was such a one-sided affair that we eventually got a 3rd fight on that one. In this case, will be a second. There'll be a 2nd fight on that one. But like I said, I think even like, I know me and you were talking after the fight yesterday that Spence will find adjustments for sure, but that doesn't mean Crawford. At least we don't think he'll take it lightly. If he does, he'll probably lose. But he will still be prepared no matter what.
Yeah,
and at this point, like how we thought Fury Wilder, like it might be essentially what Fury Wilder 3 was, where Fury was dominating, then Wilder knocked him down a couple of times, and then Fury dominated the rest of the way almost.
I mean, the reason why that was a trilogy fight is because of a draw.
Wilder also
Otherwise,
broke his hand too.
No, it's because it was a draw in the first fight.
Yeah, no.
So like it would have been like 2
I'm
fights.
anticipating that to be it was a 2-fight thing too.
It would have been a 2
I'm
fight.
saying 3 because it fact is it was
so
3rd
like,
fight. So that's what I'm anticipating this fight to be. Whereas like I still think Bud will end up winning it. And for overall pound for pound, I said Fury. I'm gonna, after finding out that he's a 2-time undisputed.
It's
Bud is hands down number 1 in my opinion, and Fury's number 2. They both shown skill sets, Fury and Bud, that they could probably go with the skills they have. They could go to any weight and do the exact same thing. Obviously, Fury ain't gonna come down all the way to freaking welterweight.
Fury's like even heavier than a heavyweight.
So yeah, Bud Crawford for sure, pound for pound king, no debates.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just happy there's a rematch clause because, like I said, they both earn the respect to like.
And we'll probably see a more motivated Spence.
Obviously, but like they both earn the respect for what they've done to have a chance to be the top dog.
The way I watched the highlights again today, and the way he dominated.
Yeah, he did dominate. Insane. Crawford, like,
he outboxed him, power, everything was there.
Yeah,
like, he did ragdoll.
Counter punch him.
Yeah.
Everything, because like the one in the second round, I think Spence was winning the set round 2 until Crawford caught him with a nice counter punch and dropped him.
Yeah, so yeah, congrats, Bud. Well, we're looking for that rematch. So
yeah,
he's one of my favorite fighters. So I'm happy that I got that prediction right.
So UFC, we'll start off with
the main one, BMF belt.
BMF, yeah.
Justin Gaethje
just did a Leon Edwards.
Literally exactly what Leon Edwards did in round 5 against Kamaru Usman. Justin Gaethje did the exact same to Dustin Poirier in round 2, knocked him out to be the BMF belt.
But that wasn't a knockdown. There's rumors saying that like Herb Dean coming in from the top rope, doing a people's elbow drop right onto Dustin Poirier was absolutely the reason why Poirier got knocked out, making this match fixed, and Gaethje did not win.
Okay, shut up.
Because Herb Dean did the dirty work.
So he's a shit ref.
No, Herb Dean's a goat.
But no, hey, all joking aside though.
Obviously it's a clear leg kick.
Yeah, clear leg kick. And you know the funny thing about this one is? Kamaru Usman is Justin Gaethje's teammate. And it was the exact same kick he got knocked out by Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
And they were bringing it up on, I think Joe Rogan brought it up. I watched the post-fight interview after. He was just saying like, it was like Leon Edwards-esque. And then Kamaru Usman's obviously there. But no, Gaethje got his revenge from, since 2018. He beat the guy that once beat him. Potential 3rd fight down the line, who knows? But, he's obviously looking forward to having one last shot, most likely, at Makhachev or Oliveira, whoever wins that fight. So, I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan. I know you're kind of are too. I will be looking forward to one more fight. At least, Gaethje doesn't win belts. He won a belt. It might not be the biggest belt, but he still won he won it. He didn't lose the big one again.
Yeah. And then also after the fight, Conor McGregor wants it.
Well, Conor McGregor needs to fucking shut up and fight Michael Chandler before he starts talking shit. Dude's talking all this shit and hasn't fought in so long. So let's see him in the ring first, because he's literally getting owned in TUF, the Ultimate Fighter, by Michael Chandler from all the tweets I've been seeing. And he's like, his fighters are like, has no wins against Michael Chandler or some shit. But we need to see that Michael Chandler fight first, because we don't know what Conor McGregor is now.
Especially,
yes. Don't get me wrong, Conor McGregor once upon a time was one of the best in the game, for sure. I'm not saying that. I'm saying at this point, Conor McGregor.
Yeah, no, but because his last fight was the broken leg.
Yeah.
Against Poirier.
But I don't know why the Chandler fight hasn't happened yet. It was supposed to happen this card before this got announced too.
Yeah, we'll see. It should happen.
So I don't want him to say, "Oh, screw Chandler, let me fight." Gaethje and Poirier went through hell with Chandler, and Oliveira, in a way too, went through hell with Chandler before, ultimately Chandler losing. So
and another one they went through hell with was Tony Ferguson, who.
Yeah, we need to watch that fight back, because we haven't watched those ones.
Who kind of like
6 seconds left, got choked out. Yeah, but you skipped the gun though. Again. I'm surprised you skipped the gun a bit here.
Yeah, I know, but like there's lightweight as well, right? So that's why.
Ferguson, I feel like at this point, Tony Ferguson just wants to win one and then retire. That's what I think.
He's been on a bad, like he's
been losing since
COVID.
Since Khabib, he was supposed to fight Khabib.
He was supposed to fight Khabib. He was he went on a sick run, right? I think in that Khabib McGregor card, I think Anthony Pettis versus Tony Ferguson, and it was like an absolute blood brawl, and Ferguson won, and he's been on Ferguson won few fights in a row, lining him up for Khabib, and then obviously COVID happened. Khabib being from Russia was obviously at home, and then on the first fight back, it was Ferguson versus Gaethje.
First fight we ever watched of either of them.
Yeah, and then Gaethje absolutely destroyed Ferguson, costing him, getting rid of Ferguson out of the picture, and then Gaethje taking the Khabib fight basically. Yeah,
so he fought. He said he beat Anthony Pettis, then he went on and beat Cowboy Donald Cerrone.
He beat Cowboy as well,
who was also on a losing streak.
He was also a good one too.
Then so you're a little bit wrong. He beat Cerrone for sure. Then he lost to Oliveira.
He lost to Oliveira
before he fought Gaethje.
Oh, actually?
Yeah.
Well, so I did not know that.
I mean, he was supposed to schedule the fight, I guess. Then he lost to Beneil Dariush. Then lost.
And then ever since then, it's just been downhill for him.
Yeah. Then he lost to Nate Diaz, Michael Chandler, who killed him essentially. So.
Well, yeah, that front kick.
And then he fought this Bobby Green dude. I don't know much about him, but yeah.
Yeah, that front kick by Chandler. I remember that.
Another thing. I guess we'll leave the light heavyweight for last, but was the return of Derek Lewis. 33 seconds flying knee ends it, and he was on a losing streak himself, because he was supposed to be up for the heavyweight and then ended up losing to Cyril Gane. Bam was his Tuivasa. And there's that was that result. We're gonna obviously look back at some of these, and your prediction was right. Split decision win for Alex Pereira.
Yeah, it was a close fight, right?
It was a close fight.
Like 28-29.
We need to this fight we need to also look back.
Yeah, we didn't watch this one.
So we need to go back to that. But yeah, so that's the fight news there. One last fight news, boxing fight. Devin Haney is moving up in weight. He'll be fighting, let me get this name right. I'm probably going to butcher the name. Regis Prograis. And for the WBC junior welterweight, obviously there was rumors that Teofimo Lopez could have been fighting him, because I think Lopez obviously went up in weight as well. Regis is apparently a good fighter, from what I've been hearing. Yeah, so again, I ain't going to comment on how good these guys are.
I've heard of him before, so if I heard of you, I think you're a good fighter.
Yeah, so Haney decided to move up to 140 pounds and face Prograis instead of arranging a fight against lightweight mandatory challenger Shakur Stevenson, which is everybody wanted to see. 24-year-old is planning to petition the WBC for permission to retain his belt.
Okay, I was about to ask that.
Yeah, and thereby keep his status as the undisputed lightweight champion still. Even though he's moving up, Stevenson's team plans to ask that Haney's belt should be declared vacant, which they got
relinquished.
Haney's a lifetime 30-0, 15 of those coming via knockout. Prograis, 34-year-old, so they're 10 years apart, but we saw what happened with an older fighter in Lomachenko, so we'll head into his fight supporting a 29-1 record.
Bro, Lomachenko got robbed. I'm still saying it to this day.
Yeah.
Lomachenko got robbed.
So, in this case, obviously, I don't know, we're not gonna break down this fight. This is happening, sorry, I shouldn't mention this. I think it's in October. This fight is October 28th, so still a couple of months away, but Shakur Stevenson, I don't know how big of a weight difference is going to be between him and Tank. That's who I would love to see next.
Yeah.
One's scaled boxer and
I
one's
also
a
like
power.
to see Shakur and Haney, but
Obviously, I'm thinking because now Haney's fighting here, right? And then Lomachenko could also try to prove it against Shakur Stevenson as well.
yeah.
So there's the updated on boxing news. Moving on, we're gonna stick this to Quickfire. NHL got a signing. Vladimir Tarasenko, big name that was available. Maybe not has been the same Vladimir Tarasenko from a couple of years ago. Has officially signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Ottawa Senators. This helps replace temporarily Alex DeBrincat. Now, is he Alex DeBrincat? No, because DeBrincat has been killing it for the last few years, whereas Tarasenko kind of struggled after the Cup final. But still, good chance for him to prove himself and be a potential trade deadline piece again.
Obviously, initially, I put like Ottawa and like one of the winners for free agency before the DeBrincat trade, and because of the Korpisalo signing, because I liked it so much, and
I think you're the only one that liked it, to be honest.
Huh?
I mean, I agreed with you, but I'm saying like out of the experts
I'm just
talking,
feel like they could make a push like this year because of that signing.
But then the DeBrincat trade happened.
The thing with this signing is like I'm excited for it as well, because if Tarasenko does refine his form from like the Cup final run, that is legit DeBrincat.
Yeah, but
that is. But it's
how much would you
tough.
bet on that though?
You can't really. It's just be tough. It's a if, right?
Yeah.
It's a what if scenario. But if it does happen, he is legit a DeBrincat replacement.
For me, it's a big if. He's probably going to be paired up with Josh Norris, Claude Giroux, maybe. I don't know. Depending on I don't know how the
lineup, right?
Yeah. So
yeah.
Vladimir Tarasenko is now off the market.
That's a good risk to have 1-year contract. It's not like
potential trade deadline if you're struggling, and he's doing decent. NBA. Nothing new. I'm going to mention Damian Lillard one time only because this is very small news. The NBA has come out and said that if Dame and his agents say that they continue to only want the Heat, they will get fined or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing
just another.
Crazy. I mean, while I have my laptop here, let me just type his name in.
But yeah, no, just another thing to Dame saga. I don't think anything's happening. Nothing with trade side, and yeah, he wants the Heat, and that's it.
NBA sends memo to Damian Lillard's trade request.
Yeah, okay, so it's basically what we said. So nothing new happened there.
All right, let's move on. Last thing, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it.
Football.
We'll start off with the Women's World Cup because that's like the biggest thing going on right now. Now, disclaimer, we're going to obviously talk about Canada more, but the disclaimer is this is recorded at Sunday at 5 o'clock in the evening. Canada play at Monday 3 a.m. We're not releasing this episode till probably mid-afternoon on Monday. So by the time this happens, Canada and Australia result already happened. And at this point, we're just going to hope if Canada wins.
They win the group as well.
Yeah.
So Canada, basically, if Canada lose, they're at risk depending on Nigeria-Ireland game.
They just need a win or a draw and they're absolutely
win and a draw 100% through the knockout
because
stage.
Nigeria, why that is? Because Nigeria pulled off an upset victory over Australia.
So right now it's Canada, Nigeria, Canada, whatever it is.
Nigeria kind of first. Nigeria has a tiebreaker.
Australia at 3, Ireland's already eliminated.
Yeah.
Right? The Canada loss and a Nigeria win means that Canada's eliminated. A Canada draw and a Nigeria win
means Canada finish second.
Means Canada finish second and probably play England in the round of 16.
A Canada win and a Nigeria draw or loss means Canada win the group.
But what happens if they both win? Who has the tiebreaker, do you know?
As of right now, it's Nigeria over because they have the same amount of goal difference.
Yeah.
I think Nigeria has more goals. I think that's what it is.
They scored more, yeah.
But so at this point, it's 4-4. Let's just say they both win. Then it's goal difference. It depends. So like if we win 2-0 over Australia, they win 1-0. Then obviously Canada.
Obviously we'll go
first.
Place. So like,
but we cannot. Sorry, go ahead.
You can't leave this to a draw, right? You're a team that should make it far in this tournament, right? And should make some noise, to, potentially win it all. So you generally cannot play, you can't do anything less than a win because you cannot play England in the round of 16. And especially if you lose, there's gonna be a lot of, big disappointment. And obviously if you lose to Australia in general and get on the group stage, that's even worse because your group stage was one of the easier ones.
No, they're saying it's a group of death.
It was?
Yes.
I don't know soccer. I don't know that.
They're saying it's arguably one of the groups of death.
Then I was
because Australia being home and having Sam Kerr, who was obviously
Sam Kerr is playing too, right?
No, we don't know if she's playing. We don't know if she's playing. But I'm saying like at the beginning of the World Cup, there was arguably one of the groups of death because you saw how Nigeria performed. Ireland was no pushover, but they were obviously. This is what we expected from Ireland. Literally exactly what they did. Canada, obviously, with the whole drama behind them, and then Australia is still one of the top.
So
nations
I don't
in
know
the
what
world.
I'm saying. So I'm just gonna stop talking.
But no, I agree with you that I think
But still, you're the favorite of the group.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse for you not to come out.
like not the favorite in the group, maybe the favorite in the group. But
Yeah,
like,
you're the favorite in the
no,
group.
I mean no, I'm not saying. I don't give a fuck about that right now. I'm saying they are top 2 in this group.
Oh,
Whatever
yeah, that's
you will.
guaranteed,
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's
Right?
guaranteed.
Like whether they're favored in the group, everybody has their own opinion about that because Sam Kerr is arguably the best player in the world. They want and Australia with the home field advantages, which is why it was surprising they lost. Now that's why they're saying Australia arguably could have been more of a favorite. That was the only reason. Other than that, it's
I'm just looking at country ranks and Canada is
yeah,
the higher.
but Australia is going to be coming out with no joke because they know they have to win, right? And if they do draw, then they got to hope Ireland win. So they want to obviously handle business and win.
Well, we can't even do a prediction, right? Because technically it's gonna be out after.
Yeah.
So, but like, just quick thing, like.
I mean, we can still do a prediction and they'll know if we got it right or wrong.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
I'm going with Canada's going to draw. That's what I'm thinking.
I think they'll win, but my thing is like where I'm having a trouble with what their lineup's gonna be.
Because they got.
Like, how are they gonna like?
I think Chloe Lacoste is still going to be a super sub.
But like, is it gonna be like Schmidt in the midfield?
I think.
Is Grosso actually gonna go to the bench because Grosso was actually one of the good ones?
I wouldn't be surprised. Jesse Fleming still made a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, Fleming.
Quinn was there.
Fleming,
I wouldn't mind Grosso going on the bench because
you can't bench Quinn. You can't bench Fleming.
So
Because
Sophie
Quinn's
Schmidt
always-
deserves to start in my opinion, and she brings that physicality and experience out of that midfield trio. I know Fleming was there, but she's still relatively young. Julia Grosso could be that super sub, which is fine with. I think Jordan Heinemann had one of her better games again on the wing.
Oh yeah,
I think she should. I think she should.
Everyone was garbage. In the
I
first
wouldn't
half.
mind. I think Christian Sinclair should need to come off the bench still
Still,
and put VN back as starter. Still.
yeah, Vian didn't get.
So I think it should be Heidemann, VN, arguably Lacoste, but I don't mind starting
It's
Leon.
gonna be Leon because she scored, but I'll keep Lacoste as a super sub. I'll agree with that because she is legit a spark.
And we don't know
plug.
if Khadijah Buchanan's
She's
health.
legit. Like Chloe Lacoste is legit a spark plug.
Yeah.
Right in the first game and the second game. I agree. I don't know. I'll 50-50 with you with Vian and Sinclair. Reason being a reason for her to start Vian is that she generally did not get any service to her as well. It's like she had no chance.
That's why I'm saying you start her.
Producing.
But if you want the experience and the calmness,
Then
Sinclair and
obviously-
Schmidt should need to start.
especially the difference.
Especially that was a difference maker. But
Yeah.
then again, you don't. One thing about Bev Priestman, again, we questioned the attacking side of things, which is maybe on Bev or not. And again, we teased something last episode. We don't know if that thing we're working on is happening. So just a heads up on that. But, that was something I wanted to ask you at that time was, is it more on the coaching and side of things? We already answered that question. You believe it's a little bit on the talent more than the coaching, right? I believe it could be a little bit of the coaching. But my thing
she
is...
still made the adjustments.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to. Bev Priestman, no matter what, one of the best game managers, at least in Canada soccer, since John Herdman, because the guy in between was horrible. So,
Yeah.
So Bev Priestman is a good game manager, because even with the Nigeria game, the subs she made helped the game. Yeah, it ended 0-0, but she's not on the field to help in the final third.
Yeah, right. Like
So-
that Nigeria game was like just poor execution by the players. Obviously, Bev Priestman, she makes the changes. I like that.
Yeah.
Right. Like she doesn't let it go around. Like she's like, okay, halftime, Ireland, we're shitting it the bed right now. Bring in some experience, and then bring in Chloe Lacoste as well,
Okay.
and add a little nice spark plug.
All right. So just moving off Canada quickly, just recapping the final one of the groups is done. Switzerland and Norway have officially qualified. New Zealand's out. So Norway got the tiebreaker over New Zealand. So one of the hosts is already out. Can Canada obviously follow up and get Australia out? Nigeria right now is first. Canada, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
Spain, Japan are both through. They were both already have 6 points.
Yeah.
England is
First
through.
place.
Their first place. Denmark and China are at 3 points each. I don't know who. Let me just check who Denmark's playing. They're playing Haiti, so England and China are playing each other. So in that case, Denmark maybe should qualify. Because I'm gonna assume the favorites win. I'm assuming that. Excuse me. Here's an upset that happened. I think we talked about it already. U.S. last time. We did, right?
Yeah, we did talk
Well,
about it.
either way, USA and Netherlands 4 points each. Portugal 3. Vietnam 0. And US plays a tougher opponent in Portugal, but again, I'm giving USA the edge because they have that experience and championship
USA will make
pedigree.
it as fine.
Netherlands play Vietnam, so I'm assuming both of those teams will end up going through.
Yeah.
If Portugal do pull off the upset, massive.
That'll be massive, bro. That'll probably be the biggest thing.
France, Jamaica is the same situation as that group I just said. Brazil's at 3 points. They're outside looking in right now.
Wow.
Jamaica's at 4 points.
Okay.
Who's Jamaica playing? They're playing Brazil, so that's a big game for Brazil.
Yeah, it's definitely a big game.
Sweden's through. Italy has 3 points. South Africa, Argentina have 1 each. So that could be interesting coming down. And Italy plays South Africa. So, Colombia upset Germany. So they're through at 6 points. Germany play Korea, who are eliminated. So it'll be a tough one there to see.
Yeah, I mean, Germany should still make it.
All right. So obviously we haven't watched, because the games are sort of a ridiculous time that we haven't really watched much of the games. But that's the update of the Women's World Cup. All right, so moving on. Transfers. Man United.
Made one.
Striker.
The one I wanted.
Rasmus.
Position I wanted. Position.
Okay, I'm like, I was going to test you there. Rasmus Højlund or Højlund from Atalanta. He wanted Man United that bad, but we'll get into that side in a second. I believe I'm going to get the exact numbers. He's officially signed. 5-year contract, transfer fee done. I think it's like roughly 80 mil with add-ons. Which I don't mind. He's 20 years old. Again, people are going to make fun of, every fan base makes fun of their own signings. You obviously were not a fan of the transfer window as much as I'm like, again.
No, now I am.
No, before this, even, like, for me, it's like, I know you're arguing as a whole Man United, which I 100% agree with you that. I'm not disagreeing with you anything that you said as a whole of Man United. Obviously hasn't been propelling. But the reason why I disagreed with you a little bit about on the side of that is because the ownership situation. Like, considering the situation Erik ten Hag had on him, he did well, in my opinion, to get the players he wanted, and they did not really overspend on. Like, they didn't go like Anthony crazy last year, or even in the past, Harry Maguire, right? And the other thing why I disagreed with you slightly was because at least we're making signings before fucking August.
Well, yeah,
that's the big factor into that, right? Compared to last year where we had to like get Casemiro after like when we literally just played when we were about to play Liverpool last year.
I mean, like my argument was like, as the season that Man United have, like looking at the club they are, right? This is a type of team that like realize that they had a successful season. They're taking step forwards, like big step forwards this season. So with this off season, right, outlook, if they could just add a few solid players, right, they could definitely, boost them for next year and maybe even contend for the title. But that thing didn't happen for me, so like that's why.
Yeah,
I don't think they're
the reason. I agree with you wholeheartedly as a whole of things. The reason I'm saying I agree, but I'm disagreeing. I'm just disagreeing on the path like that you're looking at it as a whole. That's the part I'm disagreeing with.
You broke it down a little bit more, but yeah, for me, I was like, okay, if we get a striker, they will immediately, just switch. Like I would just switch to like, okay, good transfer window, because I was like, I was like, okay, what the hell are you like really doing, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you made some couple signings that helped you out, but like the main one was the striker, right? Because you would have survived if you had De Gea again next year. I would have survived if I had De Gea again next year.
You probably been the only Man United fan, I believe.
Yeah, no, but
I would have been like, I'm with you slightly.
You want your goalie to make saves. De Gea's been one of the bright spots these last couple of years.
I wouldn't say like bright spots. He's been doing the job.
Obviously, when you look at it, he's doing a job, right? He's doing a job. So I wouldn't have hated, but for me, we needed a striker, right? No matter if young or old, whatever, experienced or not, right? We needed a striker, and to get this guy is kind of like it's feel like we kind of like it's like kind of like a draft, we're trying to like develop him and become that guy eventually. But I like it right now because he's definitely going to get minutes. I don't think he will start right away for us, right? He'll definitely get minutes.
Jadon Sancho right now, I just saw the Man United lineup for Dortmund right now. That's what I was looking over this way, and the transfer fee. Might play false nine a lot more, and he's been doing decent in preseason. We don't know how it's going to translate.
So then my point is...
Before you go on, 72 million pound fee, so I don't know how many that's in euros. It's 64 million with 8 million add-ons. That's what it is. Yeah. So it's, again, we're Man United. They're going to
spend,
No, they're going to...
Overprice
us right, for everything.
A lot of money. Like, we already know, we've been saying this.
Yeah.
We've been through it. And, we got other fans who will be like, also, aka our cousin who's Arsenal fan is going to say, oh, that's just a lame excuse. But we don't give a shit. Right?
Yeah.
So, but like, my point was like, this striker signing was going to be like the thing that propels me from like, okay, man, to like, okay, now you have a good window.
It's like it reminds me of Anthony Richardson. Mark Goldbridge, who owns one of the who I guess owns because it's somewhat a company, but is one of the guys of the United Stand fan page. That's what it's called. And he was mentioning that like it's kind of like, okay, no more none of this Weghorst bullshit going for loans and stuff. You know, similar to the Colts with no more Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers type shit. Now we got Anthony Richardson. Now we got Rasmus Højlund. We try to coach him up. And the reason why I love this is this guy literally told his agents, if you don't get me Man United in the next couple of weeks, you're fired, essentially. So
you wanted him bad.
I mean, now, granted, Anthony said the same thing, like he wanted Man United bad, and other Lisandro Martinez, and that had the Ten Hag effect to it as well. But I'm just saying, it's a similar vibe. You want players to play for you. It's not like, here, Harry Maguire, you're coming here because you're 80 million. That's it, right? It's not none of that shit.
Yeah, because
you're not coming here for purely the money.
The season helped, right? What Erik Ten Hag did, propelling us to a trophy, Champions League spot, and a decent Europa League run, right? Helps, Manchester United become a spot where you want to play again, right? So now you're saying Mount wanting Man United. Now you're saying Højlund wanted Man United, right? You're seeing Onana wanted Man United.
Sofyan Amrabat has officially agreed, and you're a huge fan of him.
Yeah.
By the way, reports or a bid has gone to Fiorentina. I'll let you finish your thought and then get into Amrabat.
Yeah, so like saying this season being the step forward, like how I was saying my argument before, it became Manchester United a spot where you want to play again, type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I was expecting, bigger, doing a better transfer window. But I'm still happy right now. Don't get me wrong. I like the Onana signing. I don't mind the Mount signing. That's I'm a little bit iffy about that one. And obviously I like this Højlund signing as well.
So yeah, no, we'll see. I don't know if he's gonna go literally false nine. What's his name? Sancho. I do want to see one thing Ten Hag not do is put Bruno on the wing because
do not do that. That's Mount now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna put a midfield on the wing, it's gonna be a Mount.
Yeah.
Not Bruno.
For me, it's again Højlund's still way too young for me. We don't know how much he's gonna propel. He ain't no Haaland at the end of the day. Haaland, obviously, at 20 years old, killed it for Dortmund and now killed it for Man City at 22. I'm not expecting to see that. But who knows? I know people are going to bring up, Chelsea fans. Oh my God, you spent 80 million on a guy that scored 9 league goals. Shut up. You signed Mudryk, and he had 0 league goals for you, and you spent 100 million with add-ons coming on top of that. So, including add-ons. But, that's just me. Teams are going to spend. If Højlund does well, great. Obviously, we're going to be critical on him a little bit because Anthony was the same thing. You're playing for Man United, and Garnacho got some criticizing as well. Again, we also got to remember these guys are young. Anthony was in his first year. We'll see what he does next year. Hopefully, propels. I understand.
Please use the right foot.
Please, no, I'm not. I agree with you. I'm not going to argue that or anything. I'm just saying again, now it's in his second year. We're going to propel Sancho. This is your last chance. We'll see what happens. And Fred's on his way out. That spending, along with the Elanga going to Nottingham Forest, plus Donny van de Beek most likely leaving, will bring in Sofyan Amrabat. So our midfield's intact. And I still want another center back because I ain't trying to have Harry Maguire be our main backup. But
Shaw before Maguire still.
Yeah. So, and then I still wouldn't mind getting a vet, a Cavani type striker, even though I know Cavani. I'm not saying Cavani. I'm just saying that type of striker just cause for mentorship. Even though right now it is going to be Rashford. And we actually have a good coach in Benny McCarthy who helped Rashford's game, right? So
yeah,
that helps as well. So we have a guy that could show Rasmus Højlund what to do. And technically, even though I'm not into it as much, Mason Greenwood was on the roster. Technically. But he ain't training with them or anything like that. So that's it for the United.
Mason Greenwood would be one of the biggest what if stories of the recent memory right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and not
he was up there with Saka and Foden. I'm not saying before any of your cousins come after us. I'm not saying he was ahead of Saka or Foden. I'm saying he was up there as
he's in the conversation as these are some young
stars coming up, and obviously Saka took it to the next level. Foden was up and down last year, but took it to the next level. So yeah, you're right. He's definitely gonna be a what if. Let's see if he goes somewhere else. But anything else with Man United other than outside the Amrabat? Like you said,
if you just get off Amrabat, I would like that a lot.
For me, the last thing is, can you get is Dean Henderson still there? I mean, Tom Heaton, I'm fine with him as the backup, but can we get another center back for me and maybe another forward just cause?
It's kind of exciting if you could get this Amrabat deal done. right?
And
all these
before,
players-
and we're getting these signings done before.
yeah, all these players gonna have a
August.
couple of weeks of training,
And then
and
see what you need to add,
because Anthony,
after.
one excuse I will give to Anthony is like he literally got signed and instantly started the next day for Arsenal against Arsenal.
Yeah.
He scored, but obviously,
Yeah. The one thing with Anthony is like his defensive awareness. Again, people are going to say you're overrating it, but he knows Ten Hag, the defensive awareness is better than some of the other guys on the wingers. So, that's the Man United thing. Our bias is out of the window now. Let's move on to this.
we talked a lot about our teams, the Blue Jays,
Colts.
Colts.
Well, Colts was a big topic. Like, there's no
Blue
doubt.
Jays too. Blue Jays had a big
Yeah.
arm. And now Man United.
So, don't worry, we're not going to be talking about the Canucks.
That's shit anyways. So.
Moving on to Ousmane Dembele. Did you hear about this or no?
Yeah.
So PSG might trigger the clause. It's only 50 million if it's
Yeah.
before July 31st. To bring in Ousmane Dembele. It's up to Ousmane Dembele if he wants to leave at this point. So his personal terms have to be the thing. Barcelona winger agreed to a 5-year. Oh wait, paving the way for the. It doubles 100 million afterwards. So yeah, it's up to Ousmane Dembele if he wants to accept this 5-year contract he's offered by PSG. Obviously, it makes sense with the whole we don't know what's Mbappe going. By the way, there's some rumor I saw with Mbappe. I'll bring it up in a second. But yeah, so there's some news to look out there. The Mbappe, I just saw Liverpool might be a lone target to get him in, which sucks. I saw now we'll get into rumors quickly. Let me just pull up some of them. Axel Disasi, this is not a rumor. He was a center back Man United was kind of targeting. Is now signing with Chelsea. He's from the French league, I believe.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Is it?
breaking. Ousmane Dembele says yes to PSG. Initial green light to the proposal has arrived. PSG verbally agreed 5-year deal with Ousmane Dembele's agent. PSG have sent formal letter to inform Barcelona, now trying best way to close the deal depends on the timing. Like I said, July 31st is the deadline, which is for us is tomorrow, but European they're already there.
Or when you watch this videos today.
Yeah, so this was 1 hour ago based on this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. All right, so that's perfect timing. Sorry, some of the rumors I was gonna bring up were. Holy shit, where did they go? Well, I just had Fabrizio Romano's tweet.
Bro.
Arsenal, David Raya.
Okay, yeah. So,
David Raya is someone he rejected. He didn't want the Bayern move. Bayern needed a goalie with Neuer was injured last year. David Raya, he wants to be more Arsenal. I don't know how that's going to work with Aaron Ramsdale there. So
backup.
Arsenal fans were making fun of Onana. Now you're getting a backup goalie you're spending 40 million on, or you're kicking out your current goalie. So I don't know. Chelsea, I don't know what the hell you're doing because you have Kepa in net right now. So there's that. The other news I saw, which is crazy, is the Napoli guy. I don't know how to say his name.
Oh, Kvaratskhelia, I believe.
Yeah, the guy from Georgia. I think the guy's from Georgia.
Yeah.
The winger that had
insane
year with
Osimhen.
Napoli. So
with Osimhen in Napoli.
Yeah.
Napoli winning the league as well. So that if Arsenal get him, bro, probably gonna have to move Arsenal up in our predictions. For sure.
I already had them second. If you guys spoiler from the Jeevan podcast, you'll see that.
I had him third.
Yeah,
but
so
someone had him at a top 4. I wonder who that someone is. There's only 3 people on the pod.
Okay, so a name that Barcelona could target is Joao Cancelo for Dembele, which is kind of strange, but
okay.
Last thing before we get to the Juventus news here. Let's just double check any big ones. Oh, Mbappe's due a loyalty bonus soon, which is hilarious to me. Sadio Mane is.
Oh yeah, he's in.
He's
Saudi,
gone to
the Saudi Pro
League as well. A front three. I don't know which. I think it's Ali, Roberto Firmino.
Yeah.
Saint Maximin, Riyad Mahrez is the front three.
That team's winning the league.
But he's joining Ronaldo's team though. Mane.
Actually?
Yeah.
Al Nasser?
Now you're like, take it back.
Yeah, might need to.
That's the team also Alex Telles went to. So.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, so that's it for the news, rumors, and signings that happened. Very quickly, okay, this was actually big news. Juventus are kicked out of Europe for 2023-2024 due to the financial fair play breaches. They were fined $20 million. They were already deducted points, which they were supposed to be in a Champions League spot, but were in a Conference League spot, and now are kicked out of that Conference League spot. They were a 10-point deduction for false accounting, which was issued in May. And then on top of that, Chelsea are also received a $10 million euro fine for submitting incomplete financial information. So Juventus went through something in 2005, which caused a lot of exits, and like Ibrahimovic being the big one. Obviously, Buffon was loyal to that situation. What's happening now? We'll see if a fire still happens there.
Did they get relegated in 2005?
They got relegated because of the points deduction.
Oh, because of deduction, right?
Yeah.
But they were just shit.
Yeah. In this case, they're not relegated, so they're still in the league, but they're not playing in Europe. So I
don't think it's gonna be anything big.
Yeah.
But
what about Man City? Is that
what about Man City? What's going on with Man City?
Oh, same. Like they were 115 or 126 charges, and they're still not suspended. Or all you hear rumors that they're gonna get kicked out of Champions League and stuff like that.
Yeah, like we're hearing all these rumors, but nothing happened, right? Like point deduction in Premier League, which would have gave Arsenal the trophy last year. Champions League getting kicked out of. So I guess I don't know. I guess City always gets away with it.
Okay, we're gonna finish it off with soccer. My friend just messaged me something Colts related of Johnathan Taylor. But it's not a trade. It's not a trade.
Okay.
He just sent me a text. Last thing, so a couple of big names have retired. David Silva, due to injury, has officially retired from soccer. Known for best in Man City, one of their early legends, I guess you could say now.
Man City, like he's a Man City legend.
Yeah.
The first Man City legend that I can think of.
Outside of Sergio Aguero. Yeah, World Cup winner Silva with Spain obviously won the World Cup. Retirement at 37. Relatively young compared to other players that still play.
Yeah, but no, David Silva is definitely one of the best playmakers in this generation, right?
Underrated for sure.
Like he kind of like, Ozil was for his team, one of the best cams in his generation when they were in their prime. So yeah.
And another player that retired is Diego Godin, best known center back for Atletico Madrid with that partnership with Jimenez. Yeah, same age, 37, decided to announce retirement. He went to Inter for a bit, then he kind of went like different.
That's so basically after Atletico, he just went to Inter for 1 year, then went to other teams as well. Played in the World Cup with Uruguay as well.
Yeah,
so
solid center back as well.
Yeah, he was definitely a solid center back in his day. Atletico legend for sure, and yeah.
Okay, so this news about Johnathan Taylor very quickly. Let me just message him. I'm gonna let him know you give us live news on the pod.
Shout
out. Shout out to my buddy. I'm not gonna obviously disclose his name for privacy reasons, but yeah. If you're listening, he's the one that actually listens on Spotify, so you know who you are. Breaking news: the Indianapolis Colts are considering placing All-Pro running back Johnathan Taylor on the non-football injury list. This is from Mike Chappelle, which is a Colts insider. Taylor suffered a back injury while working out on his own in Arizona and is still rehabbing from his ankle injury from January. Indy would not have to pay Taylor if so. So, as we mentioned earlier, JT...
non-football injury related? Isn't he
like a list of non-football lists. After his injury, I guess, or whatever.
Well, because of the workout on his own?
No, well, just in general, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole situation is bonkers. Taylor and his agent are asking for $16 million per year, league sources tell ML Football. So he's asking for $16 million.
So that's for McCaffrey money.
Yeah. Okay, that's a little too much for me, but...
Yeah, for Taylor, I'll give it like around...
Teams pay...
Max $15 million
Team
per year.
pays players on PUP once season begins. That's not the case with NFL. No pay for a player that happened away from team, which kind of reminds me of the Naeem Hines situation with the whole him getting hit by a jet ski. And he might not get paid. So this is a similar situation, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. It's because of that injury from Arizona that he was working on his own. Not for the Cardinals, right? In Arizona when he was working out on his own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously another Colts page I'm looking at right here is saying now I understand why they're not trying to extend him. So, yeah, it sucks. Gets worse and worse. And shout out to my buddy for this message right near the end of the pod. But yeah, we don't need to go too much into it. You could check earlier on what we said about Johnathan Taylor. So yeah, that's pretty much it from us. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Please check out that Jeevan Badwal podcast. You guys will enjoy it. You'll hear some funny stories about us and our soccer skills. I'll give you that spoiler. He rates our soccer skills. So you'll see what he thinks from a professional or a soon-to-be professional player, essentially. Rate us, and you'll listen to his journey as a young 17-year-old boy that has a dream like many of us do. So make sure you guys check that out. Check out our socials linked in our description / our YouTube. You'll see that there. And other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.